How would it feel to have a thriving fitness business and have the freedom to enjoy life at the fullest? Well, that is exactly what the Trainer Revenue Multiplier Show is going to give you. My name is Mathew Park. This is Jaime Filer.
Hey, guys.
And we are here to serve.
What's going on, everybody? Everyone wants to do the intro. Alvin, would you like to do the intro?
No, God, I'm just excited.
Welcome to the Trainer Revenue Multiplier Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jaime Filer, and I am joined today by Mathew Park and Alvin Brown in what is going to prove to be the most thought-provoking, eye-opening, soul-defining series we have brought to the TRM podcast so far.
Sizzling over here. I feel it.
Episode 1, new series, all about mindset specifically. Mathew, why are we even doing this? What brought this on?
That is a wonderful question, Jaime, or fantastic filer, should I say, to get this call going. We look at Mr. Alvin Brown, PMT, we look at Filer Fitness and that bulletproof mindset you've got over there, Filer, as well. And we look at our clients in TRM that are going and building their businesses. They are putting in systems and market, all that good stuff into their businesses. And we're noticing more and more the barriers they're hitting as they grow, financially, in their life, business-wise, a whole 9 yards. And we thought, this would be good to bring in the three of us, bring in Alvin, bring in you, Jaime, and of course, myself. We can dive deeper into these specific areas to overcome and grow your business. Hence why we're here today. It'll be a 3 to 4, maybe 5-part series. We're going to have only for mindset for our TRM. And we're just going to incorporate techniques and tools to help our clients and those listening to elevate their businesses mindset-wise. Yeah.
I love it. I was actually earlier this morning from 9 to 10, I was on a role-playing call for overcoming client objections with 4 of my friends. And one of the things that was said to me at the end of the call was, gosh, Jaime, you're just so smooth. You just have this air of confidence that like you could sell me anything. And that's not my sales skills. Because I'm not a salesperson. You guys know me. I'm service first, impact, pretty shy in real life. But the reason that I'm tying this back is that your clients want to see you as bulletproof. They want you to be smooth because if you're not calm, cool, and collected, how can they be? And I think it's just I think the mindset is more of an essential skill than sales in general, which is, again, why we want you to become bulletproof. Because it's just, again, it's the biggest compliment in the world when someone says, Jaime, it seems like you've been doing this forever. I haven't. I've been doing this since January 2019. That's it, right?
So I want to quickly jump in here and I want to point something out that I just noticed. I sit back and I listen and I read between the lines of what people say and not what they're saying, because there's 2 ways we communicate, on a surface structure and a deep structure. So here's what I picked up from the filer. This is what I picked up. The person asks you, how can you seem so smooth? How can you seem so perfect in the way you're doing this? And you just said something that you didn't say, but you said it. I was on a role-playing call before at 9 to 10 a.m. How many people go on a role-playing call? And how often do you do this, Jaime? How often do you do this role-playing call?
It's bi-weekly.
Okay. So if anyone's out there wondering, how does someone, when I used to watch football, and I see someone drag their toe on the line, like how did they know to catch that ball and make sure both toes are on the line? They just at the end. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just a gift. No, they practice that. How they just drag that toe. They have someone throw them the ball right at the line and they dragged it. So this is how Jaime got good at this. So again, we can't get great mastery at something without that bi-weekly practice, weekly, whatever it is you want to do something about it. And the last one is, you were saying that you're usually shy and all that, but I would say the consistency of this behavior is what makes you, again, get over the shyness. Because there's a great quote, everybody knows me, they know I love quotes. It says, courage is not the absence of fear. Jamie's still thinking about the call and all that, but it's the realization that something's more important than the fear. So Jamie realized that me giving service to people is so much more important than my fear, that it covers over the fear that she may have if she let it roll. So anyways, I want to give her flowers, and Mathew, you're awesome too. So there you go.
Appreciate you, Alvin.
Little details.
So let's dive in. The first topic of the episode series is overcoming mental resistance. Overcoming, at every new level, there's a new devil in our fitness business, right? Where many fitness coaches hit roadblocks is when they grow, they hit a ceiling. And often that is just a perceived ceiling. It's not an actual roadblock. It's in their mind. So the question is, gents, how does a fitness coach overcome resistance?
Alvin?
Okay. All right. I'll dive right in. I've got one. I wrote down a few things just in lieu of this call. The number one thing, though, is this: stay in your lane. Stay securely, feet planted in your lane. If you know your lane and you stay in it, there's no way I can be a critique of you, honestly, and have it jar you, because you're in your lane. How can I critique that your name is Mathew Park? Yeah, my name is Mathew Park. I can't critique that. Oh, but you spelled Park with the wrong P. No, it's still Park. So what I'm getting at is stay in your lane. So that's a great way to get over that whole imposter thing, and the new levels and new devils. See, if I go up to a new level, I'm going to stay in my lane consistently. And if I stay there, no matter what level you throw me at, say I started let's use a corporate. I started in the mailroom, but this is what I'm really great at. I'm great at people. And you throw me in the executive role, I'm still going to be great at people because that's what I do. I don't let anything change that. So stay firmly in your lane. And we just got off of a group call in TRM where we talked about this idea of the only reason why you are feeling judged is because you have been judging yourself. You are one of the biggest critics. So you think you're going to get critiqued the way you do it. But if I stay in my lane, I will not have to worry about the minute I start to go into Jamie's lane. So I'm looking at Jamie and she's doing great in the LGBTQ. And I thought, you know what? Oh, I really like what she's doing. I'm going to jump in her lane. Maybe I can just be in her lane and take some of, because I like what she's doing. And I get crushed because that's not in my lane. So stay in your lane, and I think everything will be good. So but first figure that out. What is your lane?
I like that. Mathew?
Remove the phrase "I know" and replace it with "How can I grow?"
Mm-hmm.
So this goes back to ego. So if we can let go of the ego and remove by always saying, "Oh, I know that. Oh, I know that," or "I know that too," and replace it, well, how can I get better? Where can I ask better questions to overcome the resistance? Because you're hitting it for a reason. And we all hit them. All three of us are hitting, walls in certain areas of our businesses. And the change of question and the removal of ego will allow us to actually go. Jimmy mentioned on the call this morning today about the mud part, like basically being in the challenge, actually being in that process for a period of time. That's exactly where you're going to learn, right? In overcoming it is being within it. So we're never going to avoid it. You can choose to avoid it, but then you're not really overcoming it. You can choose to step in it and remove the ego of like saying, I know how to overcome this. Maybe you don't. Maybe you need to ask Jamie for some tips, or ask Alvin for areas tips over here. Or maybe we ask Isaac for tips, whoever it might be, or somebody outside of our circle. And then we start to learn and listen to what we're being shared or, communicate to us. And from there, move forward or through it or within it to actually overcome it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Jamie, what do you think, Jamie?
So when I hear resistance, it's similar to when a client comes to us and they say, I want to lose 20 pounds. No, of course you do. So does literally everyone else. What do you want, right? What's on the other side of the 20 pounds for you? So when when we hear a fitness coach saying, or we identify that a fitness coach has a resistance, what's on the other side of that you're scared of getting to, right? It's very uncomfortable to deal with emotional eating, binge eating, getting to where you want to be and still not being sexy enough for your partner to have sex with the lights on. So a fitness coach has a mental resistance not to tracking their metrics or reaching out to new leads or hiring a VA and spending money. There's a resistance to the success or failure on the other side of that thing. So unless you identify what the heck you're scared of and why that resistance exists, you're never going to bust through it. Because it's not, the metrics aren't the problem. The 20 pounds isn't the problem. Your relationship with food is the problem. Your relationship to money is the problem. Your confidence is why you won't get in front of the camera to make a story. It's not that you're not generating new leads. It's that you don't have the confidence to go on Instagram.
Yes. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I want to quickly jump in and comment on both of what you said. Mathew, you said, in a nutshell, knowledge, and this is something I picked up, knowledge creates a blind spot. So the minute you think you know it, take a person. Jamie's, the people closest to her think they know her from 10 years ago. Oh, I know her. You don't know her. That was her then. She was pretending to be whoever she was then, but this is actually real her. So the people who know you stop looking at who you can become. Same as knowledge. The minute a professional tells me they know something, if they stop being curious and stop learning, I'm done with them. I'm done with them now. They already know. One thing I know is knowledge. It just keeps going and going. The more you know, the more you become more ignorant. You're like, I don't know. So knowledge becomes a blind spot. And that Jamie mentioned about, it's not about the macros and not about the calories. It's so true. The one time when someone meets resistance, so everyone listening out there, insert your resistance here, right? I'll leave a blank spot. Insert your resistance, money, growth, business, whatever it is, relationship. And the minute you get to that resistance, remember that something behind it is something that means a lot to you. We never hit resistance doing mundane things, doing things that don't mean anything to us. But the minute Stephen Pressfield has his book out called The Art of War, and he talks about that. The minute the writer, here's a great example. He said Hitler actually he studied at this art school of Vienna, but he got turned down. So he said he'd rather start World War II than do his artwork. See, so a lot of times when we get to the thing we love the most, that means a lot to us, or that will hurt us, we will meet resistance. So that weight loss, what if you lost the weight and people started to give you attention, the wrong attention that you may want? Because behind the weight gain is a way of hiding. No one will notice you then. What if climbing up that ladder opens you up to more criticism, right? Because at every new level, recently I was just looking at, I mentioned this before, The Rock and Oprah got together to do a fundraising for Maui. They raised $10 million. Now, at surface, that sounds like a great thing. However, they got ripped a new one because they didn't give the money. You're coming to us, poor people, and asking for the money. Why didn't you? Can you not do it? How do you know they didn't do anything other than raising this money? They don't. But you see, so it made me realize that if you want to elevate to that next level, there's going to be challenges. And if you can't take it, just be careful what you ask for. You might get it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that. I want to piggyback on what you guys said about knowledge, because one area in terms of mental resistance I hear with even some of our TRM clients is the phrase, I feel like. I feel like I'm not getting as many leads this month. I feel like there are a lot more people quitting. I feel like starting the Facebook group is a waste of time. And I think that's mental resistance. I think that's a barrier, because then my question is, well, Have you been keeping track of how many people filled out your intake form and told you that they came to you from XYZ source? Well, no. Then how do you know that 99% of your leads aren't from your Facebook group? Have you been keeping track of how many clients quit this month? No, I try to give up. Okay, great. So then how do you know that your back end retention is bad? You can't, your resistance, I feel like, look at a long enough time horizon, right? I can say, I feel like I've not lost any weight. Okay, but if I look at my weight today compared to 3 years ago, I've lost 15 pounds. That's quite a bit. But without perspective, you are creating your own resistance. So ignore what you feel and start looking at the facts. And chances are you will end up proving your feelings wrong.
Amen. Matthew, you want to take that one first? Toss your
I
ball.
was pretty good, actually. I was pretty dialed. Resistance, when we look at growth and look at, for example, let's say one of our coaches come into TRM, they're at 10K a month, they want to go to 30K a month, right? It's a very common phrase we hear, or either 10 or 20K a month. And it all sounds great in the first month, the first couple of weeks. Then, as Amy mentioned, things aren't like tracked or measured, or Alvin talked about certain things as well too. And what I sense is when they grow, they aren't actually preparing themselves properly to actually withstand the things that are going to come. So hence being consistent, right? Mastering the fundamentals. Of course, one thing you always talk about Alvin and TRM is mastering the fundamentals. But Jamie, one thing that you're very, very good at is always doing the basics over and over, very, very, very good. And I mean, mastering time like a ninja, better than I think everybody, even in probably in TRM. But it goes into doing the few things very, very well. So resistance actually, if we look at when you want to double your income, or you want to get back 10 hours of your time, or you want to have your first vacation, and it's the first time doing these things for you, there has to be a means of bravery and courage, going back to your PMT principles, Alvin, of going into, and Jamie, your question of what are you scared of, right? Identifying those things as you go through them. Because I think a lot of the coaches, they just think of tactical things, but they forget about everything else they're going to hit on the way through. Yeah. And then they back away, they quit, they move to a shiny idea over in left field. So it really comes into follow through the good and the struggle and the bad, and keep following through time, month after month. And eventually, you know what, Jamie, it's been 4.5 years later, you're doing a mid 6-figure, or probably even higher than that, Jamie, business, going from 1,000 a month, right? Yeah. Alvin, very similar thing with your clinics. They are 7 figures. So, but that wasn't like that years ago. So, but you followed through resistance. You followed through. You had good, you had challenge, you had bad, but you kept going through those motions. I think that's where, if coaches can go through it and have someone like TRM in their corner, or PMT or Jamie in their corner, like us or others, and they keep listening and learning and applying, they're going to win. It's only a matter of time to win. Winning is inevitable at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. And I would jump in and say, again, I'm going to quote, hey, hate me. I'm going to nauseate with quotes, but people lie, numbers don't. I heard that one. I was like, whoa, okay. Because sometimes, if we put the lights on a certain way, turn a certain way in the mirror, I don't look too bad, actually. I don't look too bad in this outfit. If I wear it big enough, and it covers me enough. But however, you jump on the scale like, oh, damn, where did that 10 come from, right? So people, or in your finances, the 2 worst times I talk about 2 worst times we face. One, going to the bank to get a loan, and they ask you for your 3 years of finance, and going to the doctors when they say, oh, your triglycerides, your weight. So numbers don't lie. People do. We lie to ourselves. That's one. And I would say business, Jamie, when we start TRM, the first module, Jamie will talk about the idea that everything's like, we use up most fuel on the takeoff, right? Of anything. That's Mathew and Jaime foundational. Most fuel are used up on the take. When somebody starts a new goal, man, it's a lot to learn, because there's a lot of nervous system learning. There's a lot of habitual changes. There's a lot of fuel being used up. But here's the thing: when you get to altitude and the coasting zone, guess what you need? You need metrics. You need a dashboard. because you're in the clouds at that point. There's nowhere there. You need direction. You need something to guide you, and that's metrics. So in business, most of the fuel is used up in the beginning. So 2-3 years, you may not even be cutting it. You may be still paying your employees, and you're not getting paid. Whatever it is, you're using up a lot of fuel on the takeoff. However, when you get to Jaime, an hour level where you're at that, you need metrics. You need metrics, or you're gonna hit something.
Yeah.
You're gonna hit something and you don't see it coming. So metrics are crucial, and that's how we get through resistance. We get unemotional when we add metrics, and business is unemotional.
Yeah.
You can't feel. I feel like I should expand. I feel like I should get this new equipment. I feel like I should hire this person. I feel. No, we measure and we go, is it the right time? Is the metric saying, can I afford this? With the numbers and the this and the that, projected forecasting, all of that. So yeah, 100%.
I want to tell a little story, if I can, to bring everything together. And it ties back into the first piece of advice that you guys gave, which was stay in your lane. And it combines with doing the basics is one of the easiest ways to overcome mental resistance. I was having a conversation with Lauren yesterday. Alvin, she's super stoked for your mindset call.
Awesome.
And one of the areas of her resistance was starting conversations on Instagram and Facebook. And it's been in her homework, in her to-do list consistently. I'm copy and pasting it every 2 weeks because she's just not doing it. And I said, Lauren, do you think I start new conversations with people every day? Do you think that's something that I've forgotten about? Do you think that's on my to-do list? And she's like, I don't know, probably not. And I said, Then I opened for her the lead tracker that my VA fills out every single week with how many conversations she starts every week, which then leads to how many calls she pitches, which leads into how many calls I book and subsequently close. And I said, Lauren, the only difference between what you're doing and what I'm doing is that I've outsourced the conversation starting. I am exactly, you and I are doing the same thing, but I'm at a level where I have someone that can do it for me. But the basics are still there. So I gave her a glimpse. All this is to say, I gave her a glimpse into my lane, saying you and I are the same, right? But with my level comes the devil of now I have to look at someone else's metrics and said, hey, you started 50 conversations less this week. What's going on? And that's my devil, right? Now I have to manage a team. And I said, but you cannot forget what got you there, because all you have to do is more of it.
Oof.
Yeah.
That was good, Jaime. Good, Alvin. Wow.
And I just wanted to say, jumping on Jaime's again, I get so much value from these conversations with both of you. But Jaime, what she's saying also, I think, and tell me if I got this right. What Jaime has resistance about. So someone out there, Jaime's resistance is that initial, but she has now a person who sets her up, the setup player. And then she dives into what she's great at, which is the conversation and the closing, which if you're not open, you don't have to close. So she doesn't have to work on cheesy closing. She's just being herself. But she's got someone to set up that part that she doesn't really enjoy a lot of. But now they put her in a sweet spot. Okay, give me the ball. I got this. I'm a 3-pointer. I got it. I'm beyond on the 3-point line. Just throw it out to me. Set up. I like it.
100%.
I like it.
All right, guys, let's close this out. Any last pearls of wisdom regarding overcoming mental resistance?
I'm going to go there. I'll go there first. Be curious and vulnerable. Because when you're curious, you will talk less, listen more, and then the knowledge gets in there, right? Again, if somebody looks at my resume, you'll see a lot of things on there, like things I've studied, but none of them were to brag. There are to, I am curious, and I'm 30 years into my profession, and I am still as curious today. I hired Matthew Park and the crew at TRM to mentor me. I have done this thing personal development and studied courses, but I realize I have a blind spot. So I'm going to be humble myself, and I'm going to go somewhere where, look at Jaime and look at Mathew. They're studying what I dropped the ball on. They're still doing. So they're keeping me sharp. I have to be sharp to be around them. So it wakes up my skills and keeps me going. So be curious and be vulnerable enough to let your ego down and go where you're celebrated, go where you're going to be pushed, and don't be the biggest dog in your pound.
I love that.
I'm really pretty much nailed with Alvin's thoughts there, Jaime, but I would just share one last note about Alvin's angle of staying in your lane, because this is actually one that, Jaime, you actually nailed up pretty early in your business with TRM, and seeing you kind of really nail your niche or your niche, if you're in Canada or the United States, and how well it's expand your business so fast with you and Katie. It's been phenomenal. So which goes back to the ideal client. Now, is it about, this call is about mindset? Heck yeah. But it also is I believe, a mindset of, don't let your shiny idea object syndrome go into place and having other aspects of your business come in too fast, because that can be the barrier holding you back to the next level. Where if you just stick to your coaching business, get Jaime to keep coaching you on A, B, C, D, F, and G, and keep rinsing and repeating, get Alvin to work with your mindset coaching to work on A, B, C, F, G. So you got these two powerhouses and in TRM behind you, and keep doing that and following the path. And that's where, when you hit the wall, it will overcome. Was that almost like a self-directed promo for you two, or what?
Love it. But you know, come on, you'll be sick of me. But here's what I want to say to that. I just heard something that Mathew said. You know, when he says come back, come back and use the 3. Some people go through the 12 steps we had before. Now it's 24, I believe. Right? We've doubled up. We've had more value. Some people go through it once and think, oh, you know what, that's it. But they notice that they struggle after they leave. But I'm going to say, do it so often, do it so consistent that you can't get it wrong anymore. I've got my steps in place. My systems are there. My sales is there. My this, my that. My metrics are in place. All these, do it so well that it's like, yeah, I'm done. Check the box. You're a ninja. So anyways, great stuff.
Fantastic. Fantastic strategy. Awesome psychology, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Again, this is just the beginning of this series, guys. So if we blew your mind, the best is yet to come.
Amen.
Sure. All right. Well, if you liked what you heard, please make sure you subscribe, rate, and share the Trainer Revenue Multiplier podcast. Before we log off, where can we find you, Alvin and Mathew?
Alvin,
all right, I'll go. So you can find me at personalmasterytraining.coach online on the web, and on social, it's Personal Mastery Training, and all the socials, it's that, and also in TRM.
Amazing. And Mathew, we are at Trainer Revenue Multiplier.
We are, champ. Yeah, we're the tag team.
Amazing. Don't forget, guys, looking forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Thanks, James.
Thanks,
Alvin.
Right.
You
Awesome
guys
job.
rocked it.